GISA, it's being a security product company with a key implementation requirements with our BFSI client base, which is more related to rule number six, which is
Correct.
like security safeguards and controls.
Correct.
So
Correct.
what is understood by the term reasonably safeguard when we read rule number six? So what do we understand by reasonably safeguards, and what type of controls should be implemented by our clients, which are, as I said, more of BFSI and other clients?
Correct. So if we move to the next slide, that's a very great question, Aisha, because we need to understand that the most of the security safeguards and the associated kind of rules that will govern how we are going to retain personal data, collect personal data, process it, right? All those aspects are actually being covered in the three rules, which are one of the main points and main areas that companies and organizations have to implement, right? From a technical implementation, business process point of view, and operations point of view. So, Rule 6 talks about the security safeguard, which one needs to understand that when we are handling personal data, organizations now have to fundamentally rethink the way they are looking and managing and processing data, because they cannot now collect data on an ad hoc basis, because there are certain privacy principles that we are going to talk about. So maybe if we move to the next slide quickly, we will need to understand that in this privacy principles that we have in the next slide. Yeah, so we will have to understand that the rule, and more than the rule, the act talks about that whenever we are collecting data, we have to take consent, we have to give enough notice of why the purpose of the data getting collected. So there has to be a privacy principle of purpose limitation. We should not collect more than what is required to fulfill the service to the data principal or the user or the customer, the organization or the business is servicing. And more than that, along with that, I mean, whenever we are collecting those personal data, we also need to understand that while doing it, we have to secure the data from the point of collection to the point it is moving to other partner ecosystems, other vendors, other contractors, because in our IT and business landscape, we have a very rich ecosystem and our digital solutions are all integrated, right? So at each point of the time, the data is moving across this IT and the business landscape. We must ensure that while data is at rest, when it is being stored, when it is being transited, or when it is being used and processed, the privacy enhancing techniques like encryption, masking, obfuscation, anonymization, and all these concepts that I think GISA is a pioneer in the market already, that we know from its CryptoBind platform. So all this becomes a key implementation parameter to safeguard the personal data of the data principals, and also kind of maintain compliance, because we cannot retain customers' personal data for a lifelong purpose, because there is a storage limitation that the government is talking about in the subsequent rules. So in a sense, we have to now think of re-architecting our IT and business processes to ensure that the security safeguards, the reasonable term to a lot of people might sound vague, but again, this is a very standard term used in most legal and legislations around the world, and it gives you a baseline, and the rules have talked about some of those baseline criteria. You can, as well as based on the sensitivity and the volume of the data, and also based on, I think there is another discussion topic which we need to understand is now with the AI coming into it, we are processing data in different ways, right? And
Yeah.
most of the time we have to secure that from algorithmic use. So in a way, we really have to take care of the rule number 6 which specifically talks about implementing the privacy enhancing techniques. So if you can quickly move to the next slide, I can talk about a few more aspects of that, which Isha, you already know, right? I mean, this is
Yeah,
something that is going to impact us in our business, and you must be
absolutely.
hearing this from your clients. So if you can talk about that a little bit.